reviving the practice of using elements of popular music and classical composition, an approach that had been in hibernation in the United States during the 1960s, composer Philip Glass, who was born in 1937, embraced the ethos of popular music without imitating it. Glass based two symphonies on music by rock musicians, David Bowie and Mr. Brian. But the symphony sound is distinctively his own. Popular elements do not appear out of place in Glass's compositions. Classical music, which from its early days has shared certain harmonies and rhythms with rock music, yet this use of popular elements has not made Glass a composer of popular music. His music is not the version of popular music packaged to attract classical listeners. It is high art for listeners steeped in rock rather than the classic. Basically, much of eastern North America is heavily clothed in natural forest. Forest that today covers is old growth, and yet at one time it was a sort of ancestral botanical blanket that covered much of certainly Massachusetts and New England. Certainly one of the first things that happened as increasing waves of colonists arrived was the need to clear the land. And this clearing of land is something that started really in the form of small subsistence farms. The timber was used for building houses, for building ships, for firewood, for all manner of things. The glacial erratic stones that were so much a part of the New England landscape are today sort of what we find in the latticework of stone walls that one can find practically anywhere in the landscape, if it's in a relatively untouched condition. By the early part of the 19th century, it's thought that generally the zenith of clearing had taken place sometime in the 1830s and 1840s, and the trees and the forests were essentially clear cut to an extent that is almost unbelievable.